What's up, friends? Welcome into Rock Chalk Sports here on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Elijah Schmidt and Tyler Brewer are behind the cameras today. With Dan Corwright, I am Sean Kellerman. Thanks for joining us for another edition. Fall camp for KU football rolls on, and we're going to be talking KU football in this opening segment. Playing one of our favorite games, in fact. You're not going to want to miss it. It's Guess That Starting 22.
That's almost as classic as Three Things.
It is. We couldn't do three things again.
Well, no, of course.
We could not do three things again. We've done that segment way too often.
Way too many times we've done Three Things.
We had to veer away from it. So, yeah, we're going to do Guess That 22. Great idea by Dan Corwright, who loves asking the Guess That Starting 5 question when we talk KU basketball. But a lot to get into with KU football as the excitement is upon us before Long Island comes calling. It's 2 weeks from Friday, Dan. 2 weeks. We are
Holy
16
cow.
days out. Next segment, Henry Greenstein, KUSports.com, and the Lawrence Journal-World will be here in studio to talk KU football and talk all things KU. He's got awesome coverage on those aforementioned websites. Make sure that you give him a subscription. He's got, again, really, really great stuff heading into fall sports season. Going to hear from KU wide receivers coach Terrence Samuel. He spoke a little bit earlier in the week following Greenie. And then we've got our KU Mailbag segment. I know we've got some classic Air for Ron, some classic KU Najee questions. What else is on tap, Dan, in KU Mailbag?
A lot of sports stuff. Air for Ron, he said he's tapping into the mind of KU Najee, which is interesting. But he's going to flip it and make it a football one. So there's an interesting one there. We have a betting question, our first game pick of the year, potentially. We have somebody asking if KU covers week 1. We'll tell you the line and what it is. Colin asked, what's the best fantasy football punishment? I've seen a lot of really good ones. Like, shout out to everybody because you have the classic, like, oh, the IHOP thing, where you go to the IHOP and then you eat a pancake, blah, 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 or whatever. Like, everyone does that, right? Or the Hot Wings Challenge at Buffalo Wild Wings. There's some great ones that I've found that I absolutely love. And I've compiled kind of a little bit of a list for them. But, yeah, I'm excited about this. KU Najee asked a question about some local kids. A lot of great stuff from some of the regulars here on the KU Mailbag.
At the Kansas Nation, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Kansas Nation on Facebook. Hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Slide into our DMs, and we'll get your question, comment on our KU Mailbag segment. Every Wednesday, one of our favorite segments. Going back to the Anderson family football complex, after that, we're going to hear from a couple KU wideouts, Nick McMillan and Keaton Kubecka, who both figure to have a big part in KU's offense under Andy Kotelnicki this year. And then it looks like it's West Virginia up next, Dan, in our record forecast. We kind of had to breeze through UCF.
Yeah, we did. What did I give them? I think I had them 3 and – no, I had them 4 and 8.
I don't know, but at this point, KU is 5-0 in conference play, so that's exciting.
Well, and that's just the way that it shakes out.
So I'm a little bit confused on how we got to 5-0 because they must be 6-0 because – we forgot about Arizona State.
Yes.
Because there's only 3 games that we haven't gone to, and it's West Virginia, BYU, and Oklahoma State. So are they 6-0? Do you have KU beating Arizona State, Utah, K-State, Baylor, TCU, and UCF?
Yeah.
Okay, so KU's actually 6-0.
They're 6-0 in conference play.
And now they got to go to Morgantown.
And again, there's no agenda behind this. This is just the way that it's shaking out.
Yeah, the way that it shakes out. It's just a matchup thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like off the cuff. Just I think, and that, again, there's just no real thought put behind it. I just think KU is going to be 6-0 in conference play, and then they're going to win all 3 of their non-con games as well. So at this point, they're 9-0.
Okay, I guess we'll see what happens when KU goes to Morgantown.
We'll see.
Last segment of the show, Dan will let us know if KU will improve to 10-0 on the season. Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment, partners of us here at Kansas Nation. If you're looking for a new tractor, trailer, snow equipment before the winter gets here, lawnmower, whatever you're looking for, they can help you out over at Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment, 1795 East 1500 Road here in Lawrence. They also have a Valley Falls location. You can visit them online at HeinenOPE.com. Shout out to our partners over there. Dan, guess that starting 22. I'm excited about this. We kind of thought about this because we were talking off air yesterday about potential defensive schemes for DK McDonald because you don't necessarily know what you're going to get, whether it's a 3-3-5, a 4-2-5, or anything like that, what it might look like. We can start on the defensive side if you would like, or we could go to the offense. Either way, let's tap into this before Greenie arrives.
Yeah, so do you want to start – well, we can start on the defense because the way that I have it written down is essentially 4 down linemen with 2 defensive ends.
See, and you asked me about that. I don't think I necessarily have to agree with you on 4-2-5.
Well, but you have the nickel position that they love to use.
Right,
and you have Saeed Gibbs, you have Kyjon Cummings-Coleman, you have Mason Ellis there, who they're primarily nickel.
I'm just saying
corners.
I might go more of an approach of 11 guys rather than necessarily. I mean, obviously, I'll do it from a positional standpoint to an extent.
Oh, you mean just put your best 11 out there?
Well, yeah. I mean,
yes,
I'm not going to do 6 safeties out there.
Oh, sure.
Okay, but yes. I want to hear you go first, and then I'll go.
Okay. All right. So the way that I have this set up is I have 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, 1 nickel, 4 DBs, a strong safety, free safety, and 2 corners. That's the way that I have it set up right now. Now, in a perfect world, in my perfect world, and the personnel that Kansas has, I think that they could very easily go even a 4-3 and take out the nickel and put in another linebacker, depending on the situation, right? Depending on what team you're playing. If you have a run-heavy team, you could even go like a 5-2 with that nickel playing in the run fits, you know what I mean? Or a 5-3, which would be just insane, right? Depends on, I mean, granted, that'd be if you're playing like Army or something. But for me, I like the 3-4 where you have linebackers constantly blitzing, whether that be in the middle or on the outside, because you have so many talented linebackers. But the way that it's set up, the way that DK McDonald likes to run his defensive sets is essentially a 4-2 with a nickel. Sometimes you have 5 down linemen. Let's go with 4. From left to right, actually it doesn't really matter, but this is the way that I'm looking at it, and this is kind of the way that I think it's going to work out. From left to right, let's start with the left defensive end. I'm going to go with Alex Bray is going to be your starting left defensive end.
I'm going to put yours in blue.
Okay. Who do you want me to go through?
Do you want to go back and forth, or do you want to
go? Let's go D-line for me first, and then you D-line. So I'll go Alex Bray at D end. Defensive tackle, I'm going to go with Blake Harold. Duh, right? I mean, that just feels right. And then, so it's kind of interesting because they flip a lot. They have different stunts and different things like that. So D tackle, I'm going to go with Blake Harold. And then I'm going to go with nose tackle because you're going to have a guy fit up with the center a lot of times, right? It helps if you have an odd front, but you're going to have a guy at least in that A gap. With the nose tackle, go ahead and give me Biggie Smalls. Mm-hmm. And then right defensive end, going to go with Leroy Harris. That's my starting. So I got Bray, Harold, Iman, Biggie Smalls, and then Leroy Harris.
All right. I'm going to agree to an extent. I'm going to go with David Santiago on the left side.
Which is surprising. I'm high on David Santiago.
You are, but just for argument's sake, no, I don't think you can do that. I wanted to go 3-4, but I don't think I can do that because you're not going to take out Biggie Smalls or Blake Harold.
No, that's the thing.
Yeah. So you probably are going to end up going with 4 down linemen, and that's fair. So only switch would be Santiago, and we'll see how the depth is up front. We've talked about this before, but you do lose Tommy Dunn and DJ Withers. What are we going to see out of guys like Jabril Conde, who's making the jump?
Right.
Because that's a spot where there's probably not going to be quite as much rotation this year, but generally there's a lot of rotation up front, and certainly he and Marcus Calvin are going to need to be impactful on that front. So, yeah, I'm with you there on the 4 down linemen, but I think Santiago gets the call there on the left side.
Okay. I mean, I would be okay with that. I just think Alex Bray, it depends on the kind of front that you want to play. If you're going like a true 7 spot, then you're going David Santiago. If you're going 4-eye, then you're probably going to go with a guy like Alex Bray because he has that massive size. I mean, he's the biggest dude in terms of height and weight combined. He's like a massive guy, and he's fast too. And you got a 4-eye, you have him going head up on that. Used to be the right tackle. I think he can blow through some guys. But David Santiago, I think, is quicker on the outside. So if you're going 7 technique, probably David Santiago. 4-eye, you're going Alex Bray. For the linebacker spots, you got to go Trey Latham for the middle linebacker. And then they've talked about it where they've had Quincy Davis playing a little bit of both, of where essentially the way that they're looking at Quincy Davis right now is he's going to be that backup for Trey Latham at that Mike linebacker position, that middle linebacker spot. But they have him playing the will. I don't think Quincy Davis is going to get that nod. I think that when you look at Bam Crouch and his coverage ability is going to be a little bit better than Quincy Davis. So I think Bam Crouch is going to get the nod at that will linebacker position.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think we are pretty solid thinking that, Lathan obviously is in the middle, and Crouch, it seems to me that he's risen to the top of the other guys, the non-Lathan guys in the linebacker room. So, yeah, I think he'll be there too. But there's a lot of guys who, are going to have a say. And then weak side, what are you thinking over there?
So that is the weak side for
weak
Bam
side
Crouch.
for
So
Bam.
I'm going
nickel.
So for nickel, that's the interesting one, right? Because you have three guys
at least
who are legitimate contenders for this spot, and I think that there's going to be a lot of conversation about it because it depends on how you want to utilize the nickel. Are you going to use him as a slot corner? Are you going to use him in the run fits? How are you going to utilize that nickel? Because they like to use it as kind of the quote hawk position, right? And sometimes you had linebackers, sometimes you had safeties, right? It all kind of depends in terms of situationally. I think to start off the game, you're going to go small, you're going to go with Saeed Gibbs. That's going to be my number one thing. You have Kaijon Cummings-Coleman, who I think is going to be a really nice nickel corner, can also play a little bit of the back safety as well. But I like Saeed Gibbs playing that nickel corner. I think he was really good at it last year.
I think Kaijon Cummings-Coleman is going to get the nod at nickel to start because I've heard so many good things about him. And also, to your point about starting small with Gibbs, I just like the size of Kaijon Cummings-Coleman. Like he's a really good build for a nickel back. And the other guy, of course, Mason Ellis, I assume is who you're thinking of. Ellis, a guy who could slot into the safety as well. But, yeah, that'll be very interesting. I think Kaijon Cummings-Coleman, who I think was pretty early commit for Kansas in the portal, I think he'll come in. Gibbs is such an interesting player, and it's good having versatility, but he played so much more outside as a corner last year than we expected, and there were some games where he was playing outside, but Jalen Todd was playing inside, and we were confused as to why that was happening. But, yeah, I think Kansas is in a really good spot, the nickelback. And, again, it's heavily dependent on the team you're facing, right? It's not going to be that much of a big deal against Long Island. But when Mizzou comes calling and they got Ahmad Hardy, maybe you do want Cummings-Coleman out there as a guy who can be, kind of more of a Marvin Grant type, maybe not as good in coverage, but more of a
good comparison.
You like that?
I didn't even think about Marvin Grant. Yeah.
So I think that's definitely an option for Kansas. But yeah. All right, let's go to the secondary here. You want to start safeties or corners?
Let's go ahead and start with the safeties here. Strong safety, I got Corey Gordon. I think that he's going to be a really nice addition. Again, guys played a lot of high-level football, and Brandon Shelby talked really highly of him. DK McDonald's talked very highly of him, and I think that he's going to be that voice in the secondary just because he has the most experience. And then free safety, obviously, is going to be Taylor Davis. I mean, you can't take Taylor Davis off the field.
Yeah, Taylor Davis, the big thing for him, aside from being kind of the captain of the back end of the defense, he's going to have to create turnovers. We talked about this a lot. But KU secondary, while Kobe Bryant and Mello Dotson were at times susceptible to the big plays, it was because they often took chances. And you're going to have a little bit of a balance there. There's some give and take because oftentimes when they took chances, what happened? They ended up creating takeaways and game-breaking plays, pick sixes or scoop and scores, whatever it was. So I think fans can live with, giving up the big plays, maybe not getting off the field as much on third down if it means you're creating 10, 12 turnovers, not 4 or 5, whatever Kansas had last year. So there's a little bit of give and take, and I think Taylor Davis, part of the maturation process, I think he's going to be, more comfortable doing some of those things. But, yeah, they have to be opportunistic. I agree on the safeties, and then I think we both think Jalen Todd obviously will start on the outside as a corner. Who do you like on the other side? Because you've got a few guys. Of course, Roman Pearson comes over from Ball State. He is somebody that they've spoken really highly of, and then you also have a 30-year player in Austin Alexander.
Yeah, so Austin Alexander, again, was kind of thrown to the wolves a little bit last year, and I think he was a little susceptible of kind of what we saw. But with Roman Pearson coming over from Ball State and just how sound he is and everything that we've heard from Roman Pearson, I really like him as well. You could potentially slot in Christian Pritchett at the corner. I know he's primarily a safety, but he's sort of that, and we continue to bring up this word because a lot of these guys are so good at so many different things, the versatility, right? Christian Pritchett is not going to be listed as a starter right now, but at the same time, we're going to be seeing a lot of Christian Pritchett throughout the year. But I think it's going to be Roman Pearson who's going to get the nod over Austin Alexander, even though Alexander started last year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Pearson also. I think Alexander provides good depth. And, yeah, interested to see what happens kind of behind them because you also have Jaleel Hurley. We haven't talked about him at all. Like, is he going to be able to get any playing time? And then in terms of guys who can contribute in the secondary in other ways, we mentioned Mason Ellis. He can slot into a lot of different spots that makes him very valuable. And, Jaden Harris we haven't heard a lot about, but he's somebody who could have an impact. And Pritchett kind of needs to, I think, who knows? I could be wrong. Maybe he's out there starting day one, but he needs to be a guy who's, ready to be a depth piece as well. All right, let's
I have a question for you, though. Do you think Jalen Todd is going to be moved to be on the best wide receiver, or do you think he's going to be primarily like right side or whatever? I think that he's going to be a floating corner.
I think the hope is that he'll be the number one corner on the number one wide receiver. I don't know if that's how it's going to be, but I think if you ask the coaches, Brandon Shelby and DK McDonald, they'd say, in an ideal world, he's our lockdown type guy.
I guess it all depends on the second guy, right? Because if you have enough confidence in Roman Pearson or Austin Alexander or Jaleel Hurley, you brought him up, right? It all depends on how much confidence you have in that guy. Whereas if they're going to be matched up against the number one wide receiver, on the other side, do you switch them or do you just keep them there and just keep them right and left? Or I think Jalen Todd is going to be that floating safety, not because the other guys are bad, but because he's that good.
It is interesting. We went through the defense and had 11, and I think pretty much, I don't want to say it's absolute, but Harold, Smalls, Harris, Lathan, Crouch, Gordon, Davis, and Todd are all going to be out there. So that's 8 of the 11. And then, there's still some battles to be won, at least in our opinion. And on the offensive side, of course, you've got Andy Kotelnicki coming back. You're going to see all sorts of different looks, so maybe this is an unfair game to be guessing the starters on that side. But, running backs, you've got 2 named to the Doak Walker Award list. Who do you like as being out there down 1 against LAU?
I think down 1 against Long Island, I think you're going to go with Dylan Edwards. We might disagree on that because Yasin Willis, I think – Long Island's never going to see a running back of that size again with Yasin Willis. But Dylan Edwards, I think, is going to get the nod for a number of different reasons. I think he's more versatile. And then number 2, if you're going to be honest, Kansas paid him a lot of money to come to Kansas. So I think they're going to want to, twist the sponge and get as much out of Dylan Edwards as humanly possible. So that's why I think Edwards is going to get the nod.
It's so interesting because it depends on, what if Kansas takes over at Long Island's 4-yard line? You don't know what the situation is going to be. You don't know what the play call is going to be. I think it'll probably be Edwards, but again, it's almost 50-50 on it'll be him or Yasin Willis. If we go to wide receivers, it's not going to be the most entertaining of segments to argue about because I think we agree if you're starting 3 wideouts, it's going to be the law firm of McMillan, Cox, and Pickett.
Yes. Those
guys are going to be the main playmakers for Kansas on the offensive side, outside of whoever the running back is. I do think that you will see Keaton Kubecka. Obviously, with Kotelnicki, you're going to have 4, maybe 5 wideout sets at times, but he'll probably be that number 4 guy. And again, whether Tate Nagy can come out and have an impact as the 5th wide receiver, I don't know, but you do have other options where you could have 2 running backs out there, and we'll talk tight ends as well. You have a lot of talented tight ends who, you can only put 11 guys out there, so we'll see. But I think those are the 3 guys in the wideout spot.
Yeah, there's no question about it, right? And you can make the case that, maybe Keaton gets a nod over Najee Cox right away. But at the same time, you're looking at those 3. It's what we like to always say, the 3-headed monster.
Yes, just like Arnold, Skinner, and Grimm. Hey, on the offensive line, we're very confident Calvin Clements is going to be the guy at left tackle, but there's some question marks otherwise. Where do you want to take this? We know Amir Hearing has been taking snaps at center. He kind of, before fall camp, was just slotted in, perception or reality as the guard for Kansas. But, let me know what you think on that front.
I think to start off, I think that they're going to give – so we'll go through, I guess, left to right? So we'll go with Calvin at the left tackle spot. Left guard is probably going to be Tuikilavatu, or the right guard. Doesn't really matter. I mean, both of those guys are – I think he's been primarily playing at the left guard position. Am I right about that? Or I know Henry's there. Amir was at the left. Sure. Okay, so Tavake might be the right guard. So I'm actually going to go with – so I'll go with Amir starting at the left guard spot. I think Kason Carpenter is going to get the nod against Long Island to see what he does in a real game-style situation. That's the way that I think it's going to look. I don't think they're going to give up on Kason Carpenter just yet, even before the season starts. maybe they like what they see out of him in the Long Island game, and maybe that tracks and follows him over to the Mizzou game. But I think you're going to see Carpenter, then you're going to see Tavake at the right guard, and then Nick Morrow at the right tackle spot. I mean, that to me feels like it's what it's going to be. You could make the case that Connor Stroh could potentially slot in there. You move Herring to corner, you move Tavake to left, then you move Connor Stroh to right, or vice versa. You move Connor Stroh to the left guard spot because Connor Stroh can play that guard position. And we've talked a lot about how big he is and how much you don't see guys that big playing in the guard spot.
I'll disagree with you just in terms of the Herring thing because we saw this last year, and yes, it's different tackle to tackle. We've talked about this with Cabledew going from the right to left, but I think they're kind of rolling with this Herring at center. I don't know for sure, but I'm getting a vibe, and again, I don't have any inside information. I have no idea. I'm getting a vibe that Herring is going to be the guy starting at center, which would, theoretically move Tui Kalavatu to the left guard, and then that would bump Connor Stroh in to the right guard, Nick Morrow at right tackle. And, Coach Ekpalsa has said good things in the past about guys like James Livingston, Jack Tanner. Those guys are going to get some run against Long Island, I'm sure of it. But yeah, I think they're going to give Herring the center spot, and that's kind of going to be his calling this season. We'll have to wait and see, but like you said, we'll see a lot of these guys.
Who do you think
Long
slides into the other guard spot?
I think it's Stroh.
You think it's Stroh?
I think Stroh, at right guard, and Herring at center, and Tui Kalavatu at left guard. Okay. All right, tight end and quarterback. Last we got. Who do you like at tight end? The four-headed monster. Seems similar in terms of a lot of guys who could be impactful, but we don't really know who's going to be most impactful statistically, who's going to be most dependent upon in the block game, anything like that.
So here's what I think is going to happen. I think you're going to see a lot of attached tight end stuff, which to me, in the Long Island game, which to me leads me to believe that Jalen Butler is going to be the number one guy. Because as we know, he played a lot of snaps at Old Dominion, didn't get a lot of receptions, but that means he was really good in the blocking game. So I think you're going to be able to utilize Jalen Butler in the blocking game more. That's why I think he gets the nod. Is Carter Moses going to have more receptions than Jalen Butler? Maybe. We're hearing a lot of great things about Jalen Butler as well in terms of the passing game too. And Carter Moses obviously was named to the preseason watch list for best tight end of the year. But at the same time, I think Jalen Butler is going to get that nod just because of the fact that his upside on the blocking game is going to be more heavily relied on.
I'm going to be totally different. I'm going to say Carson Brune. I've been high on him. I think Carson Brune is going to be the starting tight end. He has to improve big time in terms of blocking, and we know he had the foot injury, but I think that he honestly is going to be a great pass catcher the rest of his career here at Kansas. But obviously it was Moses who received the preseason recognition for the Mackey Award. We'll see if he can find a way to do it. And then we get to quarterback. Dan, here we are.
Here we are.
We've got Cole Ballard. We've got Isaiah Marshall. 2 of the 6 guys that Kansas took over to the KU kickoff at Corinth Square. Who do you think wins that job?
I'm gonna remain consistent. I haven't been moved. I know we've seen clips of Isaiah Marshall, making some really nice passes, but at the same time, it's got to be Ballard. It's just got to be Ballard. I think that there's no world where it's not Ballard. I think that you're going to see both of them for sure. And people are going to be writing stories about, Cole Ballard got the start, even though, the split could be 51 to 49%, Ballard versus Marshall in the Long Island game. Because Lance said we're going to see both of these guys. Who gets the nod? Who gets that first snap as quarterback for the Kansas football team in 2026? I think it's going to be Cole Ballard.
If I'm Andy Kotelnicki, I am on the first snap against Long Island. If I'm not doing the Wildcat formation, I'm sending both quarterbacks out. I'm either sending 2 quarterbacks out or none.
That would be great. That honestly would be really funny.
I'm either putting Dylan Edwards as the one to take the first snap, Edwards and Willis, and do a Wildcat formation, or before the first snap, I'm sending both Ballard and Marshall out. They run out at the exact same time in the first snap.
That would be so great.
But yeah, we're going to see them both a lot. I think it's going to be Ballard ever so slightly to take the majority of snaps for KU. Again, he's been ahead on the depth chart previous years of Zeke Marshall. I think that'll still be the case. But, maybe they've made their decision. Maybe they haven't, but we'll have to find out. Again, you're not going to see a ton. You might not have questions answered on the quarterback side or main questions answered against Long Island. And yet the Mizzou game, because you'll want them to still be guessing, will come calling, and we'll see who gets the bulk snaps in that one. That's our Guess That starting 22 for Kansas football.
Favorite game.
Our favorite game here on Rock Chalk Sports. After this, it's Henry Greenstein in studio. He comes to us from KUSports.com and the Lawrence Journal-World. That's next, ESPN Kansas City, KansasNation.com. Welcome back to Rock Chalk Sports here on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Miles Schneider and his team over at Crown Automotive will get you in the vehicle that you need. If you're looking for a new vehicle or a used vehicle, they will answer your questions and they will find the fit for you. On South Iowa here in Lawrence or CrownAutomotive.com, whatever you need, the best sales and service staff here in Lawrence is over at Crown. All right, let's bring on Henry Greenstein, KUSports.com and the Lawrence Journal-World. Henry, I know you want to break down the Chiefs preseason game against the Rams on Saturday. No touchdowns, but 4 Harrison Butker field goals. The 59-yard field goal looked like it would have been good from 65. That was impressive. I thought Emmett Johnson looked awesome, 12 carries, 59 yards. You remember watching him, Nebraska-Cincinnati at Arrowhead. Any other Chiefs content you want to get to right off the jump?
I was just going to say that game already provided the obligatory NFL preseason thing of a quarterback having a high completion percentage, so people think he's great. Ty Simpson, this year's winner.
For sure. Right. Well, there's a little bit for Nussmeier, too, because he was, 13 of 19 for like 80 yards or something. But anyway,
you go, oh, wait.
I kid, of course. We want to talk about the Jayhawks fall camp. I know you caught the butt end of our Guess That starting 22, which, yes, we did come up with this morning as our open for today. Not a lot of disagreements. I think there's a lot of, it's set in stone. For
there's
the
like
depth chart.
2 things we disagreed on.
Yeah, and I sided with Dan on one of them and Sean on the other.
How about that? Why don't you expand?
Well, so with the offensive line, so obviously, as you guys kind of explained, about a week ago, Kason Carpenter missed a practice, and during that time, they wanted to try out Amir at center. He snapped the ball before, but in the spring told us he had just been focusing on guard during the spring. Which is interesting because I think when they picked up Connor Stroh, after they lost Tyler Mercer, a lot of us were like, all right, Amir will be the center, and it'll be Tavake and Connor Stroh as the guards. But then we all put that idea out of their mind once they got Kason Carpenter.
Right.
Well, now it's back in our minds because they started doing it at practice. But when we asked Lance about it, and he said, it's been okay, the snapping hasn't been quite as consistent as we would like, that set off alarm bells for me a little bit. Maybe it could just be Amir getting back in the groove as someone who hadn't snapped throughout the spring, as far as we know. But that made me lean a little bit more toward the previous vision of Kason as the center and Amir and Tavake as the starters. That, I totally see the merit of having, if you're going Tavake, Amir, and Stroh as your interior offensive line, that can stack up against anyone in terms of size.
Yeah.
I know Stroh hasn't been the most talked up player all offseason, but it's pretty easy to see why someone who's, 6'5",
350,
isn't he? Yeah,
or whatever.
He's huge.
And
I think he's 6'8".
He's
isn't he?
built like an NFL left tackle.
6'7", 350, maybe something like
6'7", yeah, and then maybe Morrow's.
Or is he 335?
Morrow's 6'8", right?
I keep mixing up his weight and that of Eamon Smalls.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, the point is, big.
Yeah.
But I've started to think that maybe going with the guy who was your center all offseason, even if he's not as physically imposing, is probably better than the guy that you insert at the last spot. We talk about their weight in the game changes, as Lance cited an interview I gave on the podium the other day.
Oh, nice.
But we talk about that. But, when it's your center, that's someone who's a bit more foundational to your offensive line than putting in Amir at guard last year or switching the tackles or whatever. So I think they can be good either way, and honestly, it might be their best arrangement with Amir, Tavake, and Stroh, but I think when they come out for the first game, I think it'll be what Dan said. And then at tight end, I don't know why Dan thought Jalen Butler would be number one.
Well, I thought that he's attached with the run game, and I think he's a better blocker than
I
everybody.
think that Carson Bruin will be the starting tight end for sure.
Okay.
Not that he's the best pass catcher among the group. In fact, I think there's an argument to be made he's probably number 3 or number 4 in terms of pass catcher, but I think they actually like him as a blocker more than you guys stated in that segment. I do think Butler will be the number 2. I think, honestly, people who compile awards watch lists mostly look at stats from 2025 and don't really think about the roles that people are actually taking on the teams that they are now part of. That's not to say Carter Moses won't play, but I think that was just looking at who had the most catches last season.
Sure. Okay. So you think Carter Moses is going to be the 3?
Yeah, I
essentially?
think so.
Which is going to be great if we run 13 personnel.
13, yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe even, who knows, we
14.
might even see 14
Who
personnel.
knows? Latent cure.
I think those were those were the one thing where I agreed with Dan on one thing and agreed with Sean. What were your other disagreements?
So we had 2 on the defensive side. I said Bray was going to start at the left DN. He said Santiago. I said if you're going to
left, you're talking about stud.
the
stud.
Stud, yes.
Yeah.
As they've started
Just because,
calling it.
well, that's the thing. Though, is like if you want to play like a 4-eye, then you go with Bray. If you want to play a 7 technique, you go with Santiago.
I tend to agree. I think it's probably ultimately Bray, just for the added size.
And we also disagreed on nickel, but expand on DN, I guess.
I think that I think Santiago's looked great, and they've played him more on the strong side. So it wouldn't really surprise me either way. But I think Bray, in terms of seniority, increased leadership, but he's improved his body comp. I think Bray's going to have a quietly improved season from last year, and so he's probably my pick. Start on the strong side, but I do think Santiago will get 30 to 40 snaps.
Okay, fair enough. Nickelback, I said Saeed Gibbs, and he said Kaijan.
Okay, I go with Sean on that one.
Okay, fair
They
enough.
said the other day that they want to have Saeed play more outside corner this year. Whether you agree with that or not is another matter in time.
They wanted to play more.
Yeah.
They want Saeed to play. They wanted. I'll show some restraint. I won't talk about what the 2 defining memories for me of Saeed playing outside corner were last season. I think his skill set lends itself better to nickel. Ultimately, I think that it won't matter all that much because I think he'll be maybe 2nd or 3rd in the outside. But I don't think that he's going to be super high up in the pecking order for either. But I do think he provides valuable veteran experience. I just think it's hard for me to believe that outside is a better use of his skills and run support and his physicality.
Yeah. So if you think that they're going to be playing Saeed more on the outside, do you think he gets the nod as the starter? Do you think that they go Todd and Alexander at the law firm? Or we both mentioned we both think that Roman Pearson, just from what we're hearing, could potentially get the nod as the starting outside guy too.
I mean, he could. I'm actually uncertain about that. And honestly, I think cornerback is probably that position might be the most concerning single position to me on the team right now.
That's
because, yeah, hey, at least we've heard good things about Jalen Todd.
Yeah,
so
true.
I think Todd's going to have a big year. He might be
He's so good, they're going to move him inside. I know you feel about that.
Last year, it's interesting. Kind of a role reversals happened because last year, you may recall, DJ Graham was going to start, and then he had nerve damage, and that gave Austin Alexander the opportunity to snatch that starting spot. Well, this year, Austin Alexander was hurt all through the spring, then had a setback right before fall camp. Has that created an opening for his spot to be taken by Roman Pearson? I think Austin Alexander is better physically. I think he's going to be more confident as compared to how he was last year. The only question is, has he missed too much time, and is the veteran experience and proven record of creating takeaways? Do you know Roman Pearson has more takeaways more interceptions in his career than the entire rest of KU's cornerback room combined?
That one.
He has 5 career interceptions.
That's tough.
See, that's not
Saeed
nothing.
has-
Those are important.
Yeah.
Saeed Gibbs has 3 and Elijah Cannon has 1. Those are the interceptions in KU's cornerback room. So I don't know. I think I lean Alexander just because it feels to me like the program has more invested in his ongoing development. I think Pearson will get a lot of snaps regardless, and I think they'll rotate. But I lean Alexander. Nickel, I will keep wanting to say Kaijan, but he hasn't been fully healthy the whole time either. I do think he's probably the leading candidate, and I think they brought him in with the idea he would do that. Is there a chance that Trey Brown starts at nickel?
Man.
Well, we keep on seeing him in those pursuit drills, and I just don't buy it.
But they're saying good
They
things
say
about
he
him, too.
lives in their
know.
offices.
I guess. What about Mason Ellis, though?
Yeah. Well, he's been hurt a lot too. So it's kind of a question of, is it just a thing where Trey has gotten all these reps because those other 2 guys have been hurt, or do they really think he's a viable? Lance said he's going to play, so. Okay. But I lean toward Kaijan with Mason as the direct backup.
Hey, who do you think's going to start at quarterback?
Yeah, that's a real question everyone wants to know. Here's my thing about this. Will they be a more exciting team if Isaiah's the quarterback? Probably. But when Zabrowski's asked to say what both guys need to work on, and for Bauer, he says he needs to be less rigid, and for Isaiah, he says he needs to develop his functional intelligence and command of the huddle and stuff like that, that seems pretty telling to me. When they want someone who can be a leader and have a full understanding of what's going on or whatever, if that truly is the area where they think Marshall is deficient, they're going to give it to Cole. And so we'll see. if Marshall has shown enough improvement over the course of the fall, maybe even since Zabrowski said that, that he can snatch it from Ballard. But I mean, physical, mechanical stuff versus kind of one of the fundamental things of being a quarterback. It's not totally even to me in terms of that particular description that Zabrowski made.
Yeah, really interesting to see how that plays out. And again, we might not even know against Long Island who it's going to be.
Can I just say, they can reveal it however they want, as long as it's not a tweet by Brett McMurphy at 6:50 p.m.
Right.
on September 4th.
Yeah.
Anything but that.
Yeah.
Depth chart, press release, just waiting until the first snap to see who goes out there. Don't leak it to Brett McMurphy or Pete Thamel.
Exactly.
No offense to those guys, just please don't.
Or
What
Rob
are
Reinert.
the odds we see an or?
On the depth chart?
Yeah.
Oh, like 100%.
I mean,
Well, it depends. Like, do they want us all to know who it is on Monday at 11 a.m.? Or do they want to keep the mystery going until Friday at 7:06 or whatever the first snap is?
Yeah.
The more I talk about it, the more I think they're just going to do the latter, and it's going to be an agonizing wait to see who it is.
That'd be
All I
exciting.
ask is don't leak it to ESPN right before the game.
Yeah, that's
leak
fair
it to
enough.
Henry Greenstein. Launch in a row in case.
I'll
Henry
take it.
Greenstein joins us.
Scoops.
LJWorld.com, KUSports.com. Did you want to touch on anything else football-wise? I know that we've got Media Day tomorrow over at the football building, indoor practice facility, all that. But we've been able to hear from these guys. Of course, they've got the back part now of fall camp, and then officially game week will be here a week from Monday. So exciting, a lot of storylines like we've discussed. But one thing I've said is I feel like just talking to these guys, it seems like they're more athletic and bigger, faster than last year's team. And this is no disrespect to Emmanuel Henderson. I mean, he's still, a guy who's put on an NFL jersey, and who knows what his impact will be for the Seahawks. But Nick McMillan, to me, looks more like a wide receiver one, just in terms of build, and Najee Cox like a Big 12 wide receiver, that sort of thing. So those are some of the things that I've noticed.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I'm a little concerned about the depth at wide receiver, just in terms of like if someone gets injured and it isn't either Najee Cox or Keaton Kubecka, who play a similar position, I think that could potentially be problematic. Because then you're getting into redshirt freshmen and true sophomores. Actually, redshirts don't even matter anymore. Should I just never refer to anyone as a redshirt anything ever again?
Just a player. Everything. You're just a player.
Yeah. What was the word?
Snurblin.
Snurblin, of course. I keep on forgetting. I
It's
keep on
okay.
wanting to say Spurgeon, but that's not. That's like a last name.
It is a name.
That's
What
my-
about we could do a sturgeon,
that's
like
my-
the fish?
Which is a
That's
fish.
my wife's. That's my wife's mother's maiden name, Spurgeon. So that's why I always get.
You
it
may have
mixed
just
up.
revealed a security question.
Yes.
Snurblin. Oh yeah.
And what's their social security number?
Oh, here it is. We'll put it on the bottom of the screen for everyone. I wanted to talk to you about KU soccer, obviously on a massive roll right now. And if you take into account the Iowa exhibition, Kansas has scored 11 goals to none. Now, technically, when it goes down to the rule book, it's still 9-0. I mean, they scored 7 goals against Missouri State. A really nice game against a really nice team in Utah State. Just talk to me about this because they've climbed all the way up to number 12 in terms of the national polls.
Yeah, the soccer polls are crazy. Did you guys see Baylor went from unranked to 6th in the country?
Oh, my
And
God.
What?
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, because they beat Arkansas and maybe also beat someone else. And I think BYU beat UCLA, and then they made them number 9 in the country or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, the soccer polls are wild. Missouri State's like no slouch. Like they were picked 2nd in their league. That's why you schedule a series with them. And I mean, KU destroyed them.
Yeah.
Missouri State went through 3 different goalkeepers. None of them allowed fewer than 2 goals.
That's tough.
It was. I mean, it was really hot out there, and they were on the road, and it was a weird kickoff time, and they seemed totally unfazed. London Defini was named to the National Team of the Week. She had a goal and 3 assists. That's pretty impressive. And she's one of those players who hasn't even been there for that long. I think they got her in the spring, and or maybe it was the winter. I don't know. Either way, an incoming transfer.
Yeah.
And she's kind of been thrust into action because of some of that health stuff that we talked about last week, and she's fit in. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw her goal where she kind of had to slide and do that left-footed finish. That was impressive.
Really impressive. Also,
So-
Carolyn Castan's had a very clear. It was very clear it was supposed to be a pass.
Yeah.
And just wound up going over the goalkeeper.
It's funny. She had like 3 goals all last year. She's already got 2.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And hey, when the Herman Trophy Committee looks at the stats, they all count the same.
That's
right.
right.
So we'll see. I mean, tomorrow's game, they've got a 2-year-long non-conference unbeaten streak going. Tomorrow in Columbus could be a big challenge. Ohio State, whatever sport you play Ohio State in, they're going to be good.
Right.
And this is no exception. But I've been impressed with KU this year. You know, they certainly had no trouble scoring goals, making people like me look stupid. Now we'll see. We'll see what happens when they go against the TCUs of the world and whatever, and have to try to score against them. But I mean, everyone and their mother got on the score sheet against the Bears. Merritt McLaughlin got her first career goal. That was pretty cool. She's a new starter this year, sophomore. So anyway, I didn't really say anything of substance, but it was a fun record-setting day for them. Obviously, the previous time they had 7 goals was against a Division II team. So a statement of intent, I believe, as Nate Lee put it.
Yeah, KU up to number 12, like we talked about. Kind of crazy how that changes so quickly. But, again, really exciting. Sophie Dog continues to be awesome, that entire KU defense. And they would have won. I think I dropped a Bill Self reference earlier this week about how he would be happy with that because if the other team doesn't score, then you're not going to lose. So that was the case with KU Soccer. KU Volleyball had their alumni scrimmage. Didn't get to see, a ton of alumni players, but there was a decent amount of them that came back and some big names. And Anise Havili, of course, who's on staff, Kelsey Payne, Cassie Waite, Caroline Bien.
Addie Berry was an assistant coach. Or Addie
Berry. Tori Holios as well, formerly Tori Miller. She was out there supporting as well. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. But Matt Ulmer, I mean, they're going to have Creighton coming to town on Saturday for an exhibition, a Katie Dalton revenge game, top 15. And then their first official game is against Pitt.
Yeah,
young team.
Not an easy way to start.
Top 5 team. Young team. Taylor Stanley got recognized. And, of course, the Peanut Butter Cups did as well. But, yeah, your thoughts on KU Volleyball before the Fighting Katie Daltons come back to Horsch?
Yeah, a couple of things come to mind. I mean, first of all, how about Jaylee Rutledge? She hasn't even played in a game yet, and they already have her on the alumni team.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was in the second set they switched it to Aisha Yono. Too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think they just needed somebody else.
Well, I thought that was amusing.
Or I think it was maybe the third set. It was Jaylee for the first 2, and I think and then Aisha for the last one.
Yeah. And then I also wanted to mention, with Pitt, I may even have understated how good Olivia Babcock is. I think she's like the 2-time National Player of the Year or something.
Wow.
I didn't realize that. I knew
someone
she was
can
a big
fact
name.
check me on that. But when you talk about KU having like more size on the block and how they'll challenge opposing hitters, I mean, it's going to be about as difficult a test for those young blockers as any they'll face all season. So in any case, are you guys going to fact check me?
I'm checking it right now, and yes, 2025, 2024. Oh, my God. She has an unbelievably long list of accomplishments. This is insane.
Look at the career highlights.
We can talk about that more in the lead up to that match, but that's quite a way to start the season. Creighton coming in. I mean, these teams are very familiar with each other at this point. Although, did Creighton's coach retire? Is it a new coach?
Kirsten Bernthal Booth, I think she did 2 years ago. It is a new coach. I think it's a guy.
Okay. I'm just gonna ask you guys to look up everything I say.
2024. 2024. So yeah, it was 2 years ago.
Okay. So
Brian Rosen took over the position April 2025.
All right, I'm out of date. Anyway, these teams are very familiar with each other. Even more so now that Dalton's on the other side. That'll be kind of interesting, a fun storyline. Other than that, I just look to see KU kind of solidifying its lineup. I'm still a little uncertain about how exactly the hierarchy is going to work on the left side beyond Grace Nelson. Like, who is the best candidate to be the other outside hitter? I'm not really sure. It's probably going to be a freshman. Do they still need Logan Bell to be a DS, or will she be the outside hitter?
Will she be a pin hitter now?
I'm ignoring that.
I know, right?
That's something they did when Omer came in. I just feel like I know they have a couple people who play on both sides, but I'm just calling them the position they play.
Okay, so
it would be like if I had to refer to everyone on KU's offensive line as an offensive lineman.
So this is where pin hitter is kind of more all-encompassing, according to my good buddy Al Overview. A pin hitter is an attacker who plays near the antennas, but it includes both outside hitters and opposite hitters.
Thank you, I understand.
I didn't know that. I thought it was just another word for outside hitters, but opposite hitters are no longer a thing at KU either.
Well, yeah,
now,
that's what I was like. For instance, someone
changes.
like Tessa Dodd, I guess you could call her a pin hitter because she may play on both sides, even though I think they want her to play on the right side behind Taylor Stanley. But, like, Taylor Stanley, I'm not going to call her a pin hitter. She's going to be on that right side. She's going to play 6 rotations. She's going to be out there. So, anyway, there's my rant. Change it back to
Jack Ritter.
Spread the word.
Yeah.
Spread the word.
So that's all I have to say about that.
No, that's certainly fair. With Taylor Stanley, I mean, she's just going to be so awesome. And I mean, I watched her. We talked about this, like, I'll make a weird comparison. I talked about this, like, Connor Stroh and Bryce Foster. Like, they just don't make them like that anymore. Like, she is unbelievably, like, she's tall. She's can jump out of the building. She's athletic. She's coordinated.
Now, I have a question for you, Dan, since you saw her. The Volley Talk posters who think that you're really great, by the way.
Of course. Yeah. Well, they think my soccer coverage
They think
is
your
great.
soccer coverage is great. The Volley Talk posters are wondering about how she'll be able to do with the fast pace of the offense. Did you feel like she was well suited for that in terms of how quickly they went in terms of setting to her?
It's hard to in terms of setting to her, I think that I think she was fantastic. I think that she was fast paced.
You know
The biggest thing that I noticed out of her was her defense. Now, granted, she's playing against alumni girls who hadn't played volleyball in quite a long time, but she had
Kelsey Payne's a pro volleyball.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Right.
But, like, I mean, you had other girls, like, on the front who just, I don't know, just weren't great. The sets weren't great. And so I think on the defensive side, she was good. But no, I thought she played fast. Like, I don't think she didn't mess up one single time. My main concern, like, the thing, if you're talking about, like, concerns in terms of the fast pace, and this isn't going to be a dig at her, this is just kind of what I've noticed, is, like, I feel like Kristen Klein isn't quite up to speed maybe as to where they want her to be. And granted, you have Reese Messer and you have other people, but, like, Kristen Klein I think is my biggest concern in terms of wanting to play fast. She did not play fast enough for me.
Didn't mean to make you go negative. I was wondering, because all those people who know more about volleyball than I do, frankly, were saying, I saw Taylor Stanley last year, and I'm not sure that she can. And
she was the best. It was abundantly clear she was the best player out there.
Okay, I'm really excited to see her. I think she's well suited for it. I think Ulmer, like I've said numerous times, like, this is the way he wants to play with the girls that he wants to play in. Yeah. I think it'll work out well. And honestly, I get what you're saying about Klein, but I think she'll get acclimated to it too. It's such a departure from last year, and you have to think about the players who were here last year learned how to play one way, and now they're having to do it another way. Now, granted, she was at Oregon when Ulmer was doing a similar thing, but I think she'll be fine. I'll just be interested to see. Last year KU went 2-setter sometimes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Will they do that? I think they won't, but will there be times where they have to do it at all? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cheering for Kristen Klein. Obviously, she came over with Matt Ulmer. We know Reese Messer is going to be the starting setter. I mean, that's just how it is. She was awesome last year as a freshman. She's from Olathe, so she comes back home after spending her freshman year at USC. I think she was the freshman. Was she the freshman of the year in the Pac-12?
I don't think so, but she was
all-freshman team.
She was first team All Big Ten, and obviously on the all-freshman team.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, but not freshman of the year.
And it was the Big Ten because USC had already moved.
That's right.
One last thing for you, Henry. Do you have any mailbag questions for us?
Well,
I'll give you time to.
Yeah, you're putting me on the spot.
Yeah, you don't have to do it now, I guess, but you can do it afterwards.
Okay.
But if you have something that's just brewing in your mind,
KUSports.com and LJWorld.com. I'll take you off the hook there, Henry. You've got great stuff up there right now. You got some features on Keaton, Kubecka, Roma Pearson. Got some other articles as well. A lot of great coverage, and I assume that'll continue these next couple weeks with Media Day tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. I'm assuming I won't see you guys at the courthouse. Friday
you won't see us at the courthouse for the
status conference and Melvin Council's hearing. Keep an eye out. We will be there.
Yeah, for sure. That's a story that will continue being a story, I guess.
30 seconds or less. Do you think Melvin Council will play basketball in a Kansas jersey next year?
Oh, gosh. I am uncertain, but I'd say probably it is less likely that he will than that he won't, just because he's – I mean, I've been saying this all along. He's not one of the people who's getting eligibility right now. He's asking for an entirely different kind of thing. Also, the longer the timeline goes on, the worse it looks for him. But we will see. I still think there's a solid chance. Status conference Friday, hearing 2 weeks from Friday. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah. Henry Greenstein, always appreciate you coming over on Wednesdays. And, we'll see you tomorrow at Media Day.
Sounds good.
More coming up on Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City, and KansasNation.com. Hey, as we move from the heat of summer into fall, now is the time to make sure that your lawn finishes the season strong. The work you do in August and September lays the foundation for a thicker, healthier, greener lawn next spring. That's where the experts at Custom Lawn and Landscape come in. From late summer fertilization and weed control to overseeding, aeration, and landscape enhancements, they'll create a plan that's right for your yard. Their team knows exactly what Kansas City and Lawrence lawns need as the seasons change. Call Custom Lawn and Landscape today or visit them online at customlawn.com to schedule your fall lawn care program. That's Custom Lawn and Landscape, your partner for a beautiful lawn in every season. Talking a lot of KU football so far on Rock Chalk Sports. Of course, fall camp continuing. Media day tomorrow. Be locked into our socials. We're going to have all sorts of stuff. Press conferences from Andy Kotelnicki, DK McDonald, Lance Leipold, and a ton of players that are going to be made available to us tomorrow at the indoor practice facility. We'll have those, again, all across socials and on kansasnation.com. Right now, though, let's go back to the Anderson Family Football Complex. We heard earlier this week from KU wide receivers coach Terrence Samuel.
As we kind of head down the home stretch of camp, how's things been for your group so far?
Progress. I mean, we still got a long ways to go, but guys are starting to understand the tempo and, the aggressive nature that we're going to play with, with the way Andy calls plays. And I think they're picking it up. They're starting to understand that the most important thing is the job that they have at that moment. Make sure they execute it. So I'm pleased, but we still got a long ways to go. I mean, we still got two guys, of course, Nas and Nick that need to continue to grow and understand the offense. I think Keaton is doing a really, really good job. Cam is doing a really, really good job in leading the group, but playing different positions. Those two guys are really, making it easy to focus on Nick and Nas being more efficient.
Given that you have a pretty strong top of the group this year, what's the process been like of trying to cultivate depth?
Oh, well, I think it's been great with the way that we practice. All our young guys, our freshmen are getting a lot of reps. And, that's crucial for these young guys to understand the speed of the game. Coming into this, I got, like freshmen coming in and got a lot of hoopla and things of that nature. And, but they got to understand at this level, you're 18, the guy you're going to go against is going to be 23. He's ready. All right, so they got to understand the speed of the game. And we do so many reps, we get so many good reps that those guys are getting reps, they're getting better, and we'll see whether or not they can help us.
What does Nick bring to the room?
Nick McMillan? An aggressive guy that snatches the ball, really good ball skills, strong frame. You got Keaton that's got a strong frame, Cam that's, rocked up, Nas is a beast. So this is the first time in a while that I've had four guys that, like I said, they could all probably jump into a bodybuilding contest.
Didn't see Cam out there today or
Yeah.
the last couple of days. How's he doing?
We're just managing his reps, just, like I said, just easing into it. He's doing good, no issues.
And with Keaton, for him from the end of last season until now, where's the biggest step forward kind of?
It's his confidence. Like I said, last year, going to some of those games and, feeling like the 50-50s didn't come to him the way he wanted them to. I think this year, he's been really aggressive in attacking 50-50. So he's seen more success. And as a whole, he's seen more success. So this is by far his best camp.
Why has Corbin been able to have such an instant impact?
Well, could have a good instant impact. That speed is different, But again, he's one of those guys that got to understand the speed of the game. Coming out of Dallas, he had a lot of success, and not to say he had to practice hard, but nobody could catch him in practice. So, but here, knowing that these guys are just as fast. He's maybe one of the fastest guys we have on the team, but he's got to learn how to play with that speed all the time. So that's where we are. When most of my wide receivers, when they come in young, it's the speed of the game. It's just the speed of the game. Can you make plays, under duress with a defender all over you? And can you use that speed? Do you have good conditioning with that speed? Because like I said, one of his things that we're trying to work on is make sure he's got good conditioning. Because, he can run 22, 23 miles an hour, but if you get tired, you only give me one rep a quarter. So he's got to understand college game. He's got to have his body right. He's got to have, his understanding of the offense so he plays fast. If he plays fast, he's going to be different.
Tate was obviously a big part of special teams last year. The defensive back has spoken highly of his ability to get open.
Yeah.
How close is he to being, I guess, a factor in offense?
Well, I mean, like I said, he's working through it right now. Tate is one of those guys. He has such great vision, and his instincts are so good. But sometimes your instincts can put you in the wrong place. And so that's where, like I said, he's continually growing and understanding his offense and putting himself in a position to make plays. He stands out when he runs a great route. We just got to make sure that we're doing all those other little things to make sure the details are part of his game.
In some years, you've had, I guess, different kinds of points of emphasis for the room. I remember 1 year was yards after the catch. Is there a central tenet that you're going for?
No, I think it's just, guard your grill and knuckle up. Here we come. Let's just go. I mean, when Andy comes in and we're going to start calling the plays the way he goes and how aggressive he is, and we're going to be, we're going to need to be right there with him with an aggressive stance. So we're ready to go and hit whoever's in front of us.
You mentioned that a couple of times, the difference between holding Nicky around. Can you expand on that? Like, what is the big difference that you feel with your room?
Well, and like I said, I mean, everybody that's, been here has all been great play callers. It's, the only thing is just Andy's personality just overrides a lot of things. I mean, that's infectious. So it makes it easy, I mean, he's coaching everybody. He's, a part of everything. So it makes it to where, that relationship piece, my players feel Andy, and that's a good thing. It's good to have him being around, giving his wisdom to guys all the time, and if they're not doing it the right way, he's letting them know. So that's the best thing to me for my guys is having an OC that's, that's on top of that part and having that relationship piece too, developing that relationship piece. Thank you, guys.
That's KU wide receiver coach Terrence Samuel speaking a little bit earlier this week. He is a straightforward, to-the-point type guy, and I think he knows that he's got a lot of talent in that room. We were talking about this. It's no disrespect to guys like Levi Wentz, who very much, legit Big 12 receiver. He's with the Steelers right now in the preseason. Emmanuel Henderson, he did a lot of great things for this program, but I got to think you're walking into that wide receiver room if you're Terrence Samuel and you're thinking, man, I really got some dudes here because Pickett's rocked up. And he talked about that. He just said Pickett's rocked up, McMillan, Cox. Those guys are ready to go now. They are Big 12 ready. And we're going to hear from McMillan and Keaton Kubecka, another guy who fits in that category, later in the show. I've talked about it a lot, but, man, these are Big 12 caliber athletes, Big 12 caliber bodies in that room.
Yeah, and I think when you look at it last year, Emmanuel Henderson was really fast, straight line speed, could beat anybody one-on-one, right? Cam Pickett, I thought was really good at the beginning of the season, but then, just wasn't able to find him the ball later in the season. And, like you said with Levi Wentz, I mean, he showed flashes, and you had a lot of really nice depth, but Bryson Canty wasn't healthy for a lot of the time. Doug McMillan was kind of a non-factor at times. Keaton Kubecka probably didn't have the season that he wanted to, but you still had the depth there. But when you look at your top three, with McMillan, Cox, and Pickett, you feel really confident in that. And then you have to just assume that Keaton Kubecka is going to take that next step forward that we've been asking for year after year out of Keaton Kubecka. And I think this is going to be the year. Now, we said that last year. Now, we said that 2 years ago, right? But this has to be the year for Keaton Kubecka. So I think he's really happy with at least the top line of guys that he has slotted in. Are they going to play a lot of snaps? Absolutely they are. Because, we talked about it last segment, the depth isn't quite there. You do have Tate Nagy. What's he going to do, right? Corbin Glasgow, as a freshman, what's he going to be able to provide in the passing game? Is it going to be a lot? Is it going to be a little bit because he still has to kind of learn the playbook and learn how to play at a Power 4 level? Maybe. We'll see. The depth has more question marks, but you look at the top three guys and you go, okay, I feel very confident in these because Nick McMillan's coming off of a top 25 receiver season in the nation from last year. Najee Cox, high points the ball. Big body style of wide receiver, can get up and high point it like nobody else's business. Cam Pickett coming into year 2 in this system with Andy Kotelnicki. I mean, Andy Kotelnicki probably, we've talked about this, looked at Cam Pickett and probably was just slobbering because of the fact that of all the different ways that he can utilize Cam Pickett. So, I think that Terrence Samuel's right to have confidence.
And how about defending Kansas? Last year, yes, you had to worry about Jalen Daniels. He had a great arm, and he's a little slippery outside the pocket, that sort of thing. But if you're a defense game planning for Kansas last year, you got two running backs who kind of have similar running styles in Highshaw and Williams.
Yeah.
Kind of bruised between, you're worried about Henderson as a speed guy. Kansas had some other players out there who could make plays.
Yeah.
I think as a defensive coordinator, now you're looking at Kansas and you're saying, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Because you've got Dylan Edwards and you've got Yasin Willis. You've got Nick McMillan and Najee Cox. Like, how are we going to match up with these guys? You've got, 4 tight ends. At least 2 of them we think could be really impactful in catching the football. And you've got potentially the biggest offensive line that Kansas has had in a long time. So I think that poses problems for opposing defenses.
I think this is something that just popped in my head. Run a 2 running back system that's going to force the linebackers to play inside the box and have an eye on those 2 running backs. And that's also going to force the corners and the safeties to play man up on these guys. And I like Najee Cox on the outside, man up on somebody. He reminds me a lot of Emmanuel Henderson like that. It reminds me a lot of, like Nick McMillan, man up on the outside. You have Cam Pickett running behind linebackers who are so packed tightly in the box with a 2 running back set. Like, if you run 2 running back sets and run pass plays out of that, the 3 guys who are going to be out there on the field are going to be able to take advantage of that, if that makes sense.
We talk a lot
I like
about
that too because, like you said, the running backs, they garner so much attention in both of them and both of their running styles that, it's going to free it up quite a bit for the wide receivers.
We talk a lot about internal competition, in any given room. Oh, running backs, we got great internal competition and all that. But to your point, given Andy Kotelnicki's creativity offensively and everything that goes with that, there's competition to get on the field no matter what position you are.
Yeah.
Because in the situation you just said, well, if Kansas does that, you ain't got no tight ends on the field.
That's true.
Right? So if you got 2 running backs and 3 wideouts, you're out of players. You get to 11 pretty quick with the offensive line and the quarterback. So there's an element of internal competition on that front too, in terms of I want to prove my worth and I want to execute these plays so that next time we get in this situation, I'm on the field.
Right.
So something to think about, but it's fun having Andy Kotelnicki back and again, fun having talent at each of those skill positions for your Kansas Jayhawks. One of our favorite segments is coming up after this, KU Mailbag segment. That's next, ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Our founding partners here at Kansas Nation, Crown Automotive. Can't say enough about all they've done for us. Really happy to be partnering with them. Miles Schneer and his team, Dan, the best in the business over on South Iowa.
Yeah, the Lawrence Citizen of the Year in 2025. It's ran by him. That's why they're not going to give you the old run around and put you in some sporty little thing. They're going to get you in the car that fits your lifestyle. A whole line of new Toyotas and Volkswagens, Tiguan's, Taos's, Jettas, Camrys, Corollas, RAV4s, Tacoma Tundras, you name it, they've got it. And those aren't your jam. They have a whole line of used cars as well from a number of different brands. Be sure to check them out over on South Iowa Street, right off of K10. You'll see it when you drive by on K10 if you're going to Kansas City or just making a little whip around. You don't want to hit the Iowa Street traffic. Swing by Crown Automotive. Just take a look. Take a nice little test drive over there. They're going to treat you right. Be sure to check them out, crownautomotive.com.
KU Mailbag segment, one of our favorite segments. We were able to squeeze one out of Henry off air. Is that correct?
Yes, we were.
I'm excited to hear what that is. But who's starting us off today in our KU Mailbag?
Let's start off with Andy. Andy has the K-Club question of the week.
Shout out.
Women's golf is celebrating a milestone this academic year. How many years has the women's golf been a varsity sport at Kansas?
So this is like a trivia question.
It is a trivia question.
Okay.
I did look this up. So, kind of. It doesn't say specifically, but I went as far back as I possibly could to check out when, like, who are the farthest back in terms of the women's golf team. So I have a number because it has everyone listed, the all-time roster. Every single individual who has ever been on this Kansas women's golf program. Okay. I have the farthest back. Do you know when it was?
Oh, my God. This is women's golf as a varsity sport at KU.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say 75 years.
No.
Okay.
The farthest the all-time roster goes back is 1975. 75.
Okay, so
So it
50,
51.
51. Okay.
So that's the thing. I don't know if Andy. So that it goes all the way back to
Andy's gonna have
75.
to text us.
Barbara Boozer and Beth Boozer were on this 1975 is as far back as it goes. I would assume the milestone is 50 years, but it goes back to 51 years. Right?
I don't know, because it could have been the 25-26 season.
Oh, maybe.
75-76, so 50 years.
This academic year.
Why don't you shoot Andy a text?
I will afterwards, but my official guess is 50 years. Shout out to women's golf, by the way. Lila Lauterbach, incredible. Edda Nordstad.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. By the way, Andy also said if you're a former letter winner in women's golf, go to KansasKClub.com for more information on how to be a part of the massive celebration. Andy is the K Club president, so be sure to reach out to him for all your K Club needs. If you're a former athlete, hit him up. Andy Flower. What's his Twitter handle?
I've got no idea. I'll let you look that up.
Andy Flower's Twitter handle is @flower_Andy.
Okay.
Okay, so hit him up.
Flower like a tulip or a rose or a
Like
lily.
a tulip or a rose. Flower_Andy.
Beautiful.
Just shoot him a DM or go to KansasKClub.com. Duncan, he wants to know, does KU cover week 1?
What's up, Duncan? Thanks for the question.
There's actually Tyler Duncan, but we have another Tyler. Shout out to Tyler Duncan, by the way.
Shout out to Tyler Brewer, by the way.
Shout out to Winter, by the way.
Shout out to Winter. Who has the lines? The lines are already up, I take it, for
So there's 3 lines up for KU football.
the first three games?
No, actually, it's not the first 3 games. It has the Long Island game, the K-State game, and the Mizzou game. So I have.
The line for the K-State game is up.
Do you want to do 3 game picks here? It's Long Island, then Mizzou, and then K-State. The only ones.
Why don't you read them to me, and then I'll let you give your thoughts.
Long Island is a 38.5 point underdog against Kansas.
Interesting. That is actually a smaller underdog than both of the last 2 years openers, Wagner and Lindenwood.
Now, the public actually likes Long Island to cover here. They're at minus 115 at plus 38.5. Kansas is at minus 105 at minus 38.5. Over under, by the way, 53.5.
So they think the Sharks will score.
Yes. Now, do you think Kansas, when do they start putting in the second string guys? Because this is going to be an evaluation game. The way that I'm looking at this.
I still think it'll be third quarter.
Like, remember when I said that I wanted Zach Clemens to take over the Howard game? This is what I want, like, Jason Strickland to take over this game on the defensive line against Long Island. That's just, this is going to be an evaluation game. They're going to feel it out. We're going to see a lot of Jalen Dupree. We're probably going to see a little Jackson Reeves
third quarter
in the running back. Third quarter?
Yep.
Okay, so that affects the spread. Does Kansas cover the 38.5?
I don't know. I kind of step aside from game picks, and I let you take that.
That's right.
Take that. So
that is fair.
Why don't you let me know what you
I
think?
am going to say Kansas wins, Kansas covers.
Really? I can't believe that.
The Daniel Courtwright special.
The Daniel Courtwright special.
Every single game pick, I'm going to pick Kansas
like when
wins
KU
and
basketball
Kansas
was
covers.
an 11-point underdog at Arizona or something.
So Kansas wins, Kansas covers.
Yeah. I'm just curious. I don't want game picks for the other two, but what are the lines for the Mizzou and the K-State games?
So Mizzou's actually only a 7-point favorite against Kansas. And
Only? That's ridiculous. We're at home.
No, I know. But K-State is a 7.5-point favorite. Mizzou's ranked
Also ridiculous.
Mizzou's ranked. K-State's not. And K-State's a higher line than Mizzou, which I think is
We'll see how those change before game
Well, I'm
week,
shocked in terms of the national media. I think Kansas still beats Mizzou and K-State.
Well,
I think
of
Kansas
course.
wins and Kansas covers.
Of course. Colin says,
it's a little shocking
what
to
is
me.
the best fantasy football punishment? He says, be a busker with a recorder.
No, these are mine.
And you can't stop until you make $20.
I
Or
wrote
sign
these
up
in.
for a bodybuilding contest. That would be terrible.
I wrote these in. So I did a little research. I just typed in fantasy football punishments on Twitter. I saw one where there was a guy, they made him go out on a street corner and play the recorder, hot cross buns.
Yeah.
And they made him stand out there and play the recorder until he made $20.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
That is good because 20 is an appropriate number because you're not forcing him to be out there like forever.
Right. But he can be out there for a couple hours.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it depends on how good he uses the recorder. By the way, we talked about this. I'm nasty on the trumpet, okay? We talked about this yesterday. It wasn't a debate. Well, yeah. The debate was, am I a loser? Hey, I won. You're looking at the 2016 Santa Fe Trail High School Most Outstanding Musician right here. I was nasty on those brass buttons.
Sign up for a bodybuilding contest. I like
it.
that.
Love it.
It's a good option.
I think, like, I love the bodybuilding contest a lot because you get all oiled up and you just look ridiculous.
That would be terrible. I mean, that would be significantly
Drill
worse than the
poses.
recorder thing.
You think so?
Yes.
How many people realistically go to those bodybuilding contests, though? Like, as patrons?
I don't know, but you would certainly feel not good about yourself after being oiled up and even being a part of one of those.
The one that I think I'm doing for this year's fantasy football punishment, I believe, is the I want to say it's the Hot Wings Challenge. Actually, I should know that. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to lose.
If it involves eating hot wings, man, I'm in.
Yeah.
That is not a punishment for me.
I saw one where some guy had to dress up as the hungry caterpillar and eat every single
I did see
food
that.
item
Swiss cheese
that they ate.
Yeah, what's the worst thing on there?
I have a guy who was forced to sing the national
No.
anthem.
What's
at
the
a
worst
college.
thing on the hungry caterpillar?
Oh, I don't know. It's just a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I know, but I want to know what they are.
Which, by the way, we talked about this. Like, you know how you like practicing gluttony? I've mastered it.
Looks like
I've
there's a
mastered
muffin,
gluttony.
a cucumber, a pork sausage, chocolate cake, lollipop, ice cream, cherry pie, Swiss
great.
cheese, pickle. Yeah, that would not be a great diet.
Yeah. It
Oh my
doesn't
God.
sound-
Yeah, and you have to eat like 2 pears, and
Yeah.
this is a mess.
There's a guy at the, you know how Pittsburgh, they have like or is it Pittsburgh or is it San Francisco? No, I think it's Pittsburgh. They have like that lake or that river that runs behind the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Allegheny Bay.
Yeah. There's a guy who was in a kayak and he had a sign that said, "I suck at fantasy football."
That
like
was probably
public
at Oracle
embarrass-
Park, I would imagine.
Oh, is it
'cause I don't know
Oracle?
if they have kayaks at
Okay.
Allegheny, but yeah.
So-
Covey Cove.
Yeah, Covey Cove. Public embarrassment's always good. I
Kids
do always
story
like that.
time would be fun.
I always,
You have
that's
to
fun.
lead story time.
There was a guy who had to sing the national anthem at a college baseball game, which was fun.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm still trying to get whistling the
Yeah, I'm
national
sure you
anthem
are.
for a KU women's basketball game. I got to talk to Doug about that.
Why don't you try the Royals? Oh, too soon. Too soon. I hate that. He's out.
The
Twist-
wound is still
Twist the
open,
knife. Twist the
Sean.
knife. KU Najee, which of the local kids, Kansas or Missouri, do you see making the most impact for Kansas football Jayhawks in the next couple seasons?
Hot take. Oh, next couple seasons.
Yeah,
I was
next
gonna
couple
s-
seasons,
I was going to say
essentially.
Dylan Edwards.
Right.
I mean, that would make sense. Calvin Clements, right? I mean, let's go down the line, I guess. Tate Nagy could potentially be a big-time factor. I think Mason Ellis could be
Is
a
this
nice...
okay? So we've reached the part where
Where
you're
I
just
just
going
listing
to
off.
list 20
you can
people.
say
yeah.
yes or no for this.
Brandon Schmelsley.
Yeah, that's true. I actually think Hunter Higgins is going to be a very nice player in the future.
Give me Kevin Sullivan.
Good pick.
You like that?
Yeah, the Hawklets.
Or Jack Oots. Either one of them.
Yeah, but is he really? I guess he's from Missouri, Platte City. How far away is Platte City from KC? I thought that was like down in the Joplin area.
I don't think it's that far, is it?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. It says Kansas or Missouri.
Okay.
How about Josh Galbraith?
Yeah.
He should be impactful.
Maybe
not this year,
No. That's actually good. My 2 picks are going to be Josh Galbraith and Hunter Higgins, both guys on the defensive side of the ball.
How about Nate Sims on the offensive side?
Could be good. I think Tate Nagy's going to be better. Nate Sims is
older.
really fast, though. I mean, he
You know a guy
makes me
actually.
excited.
We're just naming names. I understand that, but a guy who actually I think is going to be impactful sooner than people think is Tyron Parker from
Oh,
Topeka.
yeah, good pick.
He is going to be a
Do you think Jalen
Pass
Mason
catcher.
is the future quarterback for the Kansas football team?
I don't know.
I've heard really good stuff about him.
He is a quarterback on the Kansas football team.
Okay. What about Connor Hanukkah?
He is also a quarterback.
Yeah, he is.
How about
Where's number
Braylon
20?
Rooney? Braylon Rooney. He's a quarterback.
He's from Arizona. So
That's true, but he is a quarterback.
he is a
On the Kansas
quarterback
football
on the
team.
Kansas. I like Jalen Mason. That's not crazy to me to say.
It's not crazy, but I'm looking at it. Zeke Marshall's only a redshirt sophomore.
That's true.
So he's got 3 years of eligibility.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Give me Hunter Higgins and Josh Galbraith on the defensive side of the ball. Tate Nagy. I'll say Nate Sims. Nate Sims will be good too.
Give me Tyron Parker on the offensive side.
Yeah.
And
no, I think Parker over Sims.
yeah, I like Josh Galbraith. Good question though.
Any
There's a lot of
local
local talent.
Any local kids on the KU basketball team? I don't think there's any.
Are there none?
I don't think so. Will Thingvall. Is he still on the roster? Yeah, he is.
He is still on the roster.
Shout out. Tyler wants to know, who is the AL and NL Rookie of the Year, and who is the MVP of Major League Baseball?
Well, let's start with MVP. We were talking about this a little bit off air. It's either Ohtani or Pete Crow Armstrong. I think that there is no legitimate argument against a player who's a top 5 hitter and a top 5 pitcher. If you're a top 5 hitter and a top 5 pitcher and no one else even does both, you are the MVP.
Yeah.
I think that's where it ends.
But
The only argument I would listen to is the fact that PCA is an elite defender, one of the best in the league, and Ohtani doesn't play defense. So you could say, okay, PCA hits and plays defense.
what about
Ohtani
really
hits
short
and pitches.
ground balls?
But you can't be a dominant pitcher and a dominant hitter as Ohtani is and not win MVP. I think, though, the odds are like, last I saw, Ohtani was like minus 140 and PCA was like plus 115. So they're like right there. 2 nights ago, both of them hit 2 homers, and PCA had a leadoff homer and a walk-off homer. And then last night, they also both each hit a homer. So it's a heck of a battle right now.
Do you think that they are going to start giving Shohei Ohtani the Mike Trout treatment or the Patrick Mahomes treatment, where they're so tired of him winning MVP every year, so tired of him being the best baseball player that's ever existed, that they're just going to start handing out MVPs to anybody but Shohei Ohtani?
I don't get a vibe, and I don't know how Tyler feels. I don't get a vibe that there's Ohtani fatigue.
That happened to Mike Trout, though.
No, I know, but I just don't.
That happened to LeBron James, too.
I don't get
Tom
that
Brady
vibe.
and all. I hate giving credit where credit's due for Tom Brady, but same thing with him.
Let's, for anybody who doesn't know, stats-wise, PCA is hitting 282 with 31 bombs, 90 runs scored, 79 RBIs, 31 steals. His OPS is 935, and his WAR is 7.8, which is better than Ohtani's. Ohtani's WAR is 6.9. Ohtani's hitting 294, 82 runs, 80 RBIs. He's only got 7 steals this year. That's surprisingly low. 949 OPS, and like I said, 6.9 WARs. I mean, offensively, if you're going strictly by offense, I'm giving it to PCA.
Okay.
Because Ohtani clips him in a few numbers, but PCA's got 31 steals and Ohtani has 7.
Could
They have
Ohtani win the
similar
Cy
numbers?
Young?
But Ohtani also pitches. He probably can't now that he's not pitching recently. That's the thing is he hasn't been pitching.
Yeah.
He pitched for 3 months and he's been shutting it down and only hitting.
Didn't he win MVP in a year where he didn't pitch?
Yes.
Yeah. That's insane.
Last year, right?
Was it last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that's a heck of a.
AL and NL Rookie of the Year. I know why.
Yeah, he
This was
Tyler
asked
wants
by
us to talk
Tyler
about this.
because he really just wants JJ Weatherholt to win it, I would assume.
Well,
Yeah.
it ain't.
Yeah,
You know,
he's
it's not going to
smirking
be
over
as
there.
Joshua Baez. He's 0 for his last 18. I mean,
That's tough.
How about a welcome to the big leagues moment for Joshua Baez? He gets 3 hits. You know, great. You start 3 for 3. Start your MLB career. You get a couple base knocks. 0 for 18 since then. That's a tough scene.
Are they going to send him back down?
He probably deserves it. Weatherholt's got a good WAR, 4.6. Only hit 241, but he does have 81 runs scored, 16 homers, 13 steals.
Magano's hitting 281.
Yeah, McGonigal's
And
he's
tied
a real,
for 22nd.
He's a real guy as well.
I mean, he has 13 home runs. It's pretty good. Weatherholt doesn't have the. I mean, Weatherholt has 16 home runs.
He doesn't have the average.
Yeah,
but
just the average isn't there. But Weatherholt's like I actually looked it up. He's like minus 115 to win Rookie of the Year. Who's the other guy on there?
McGonigal.
Well, yeah, McGonigal.
Oh.
McGonigal's like
Yeah, who's
McGonigal's very much so like going to be.
Sal Stewart?
So Weatherholt's at minus 160 right now. Sal Stewart's at plus 150.
Yeah.
And then why is it not showing AL?
Carson
Because
Bench started slow, but he's been good.
Yeah, Kevin McGonigal's like -5 something.
Yeah.
So probably going to be McGonigal.
Classic Luke question from Luke. Would you rather always hit green lights or always get the perfect parking spot?
Good question.
I know what I'm going with. I'm breaking out the sentiment here. I always want the ideal parking spot because I'm often late,
Yes.
which I know
Often.
people are thinking, oh, but what if you always hit green lights? That's actually a fair question. But I'm going with the parking spot because it's just so convenient. In any scenario, you're hungry, you want to go inside a restaurant. I mean, how many times you driving through? I know Shea Wildeboer deals with this all the time. He's always driving through parking lots looking for a spot. But finding the right spot is vital, right outside the door of wherever you need to go. The red lights I'm okay with because I've got daughters, man. And we
Yeah.
have conversations at red lights. We do.
Fair.
You ever heard Backseat Driver by Kane Brown?
I
I mean, it is just
sure I have.
so good. So good. If you have a daughters in the future, I mean, you're gonna be a puddle after listening to that.
Kane Brown.
So good. So good. Ava thinks it's about me and her. It's adorable.
Oh, that's nice.
Because it's about a dad driving, and one of the lines is like, he's going to look back and miss the time where his life wasn't over the dash. It was back there buckled in. It's like,
that's
I know,
nice.
right? To kill it.
Man.
So,
I get it because my
Yeah.
dogs, you know.
and anybody with kids out there too, like I'm in the phase right now, and this is definitely a phase that I'll miss, and I hope it continues for a long time. But to where you're adjusting your rearview mirror to where you're looking back at your kids in the car seats rather than
That
you know,
sounds
the
unsafe.
cars behind you. Yeah, I know, but everybody does it. I'm sure everybody
Fair
does
enough.
it. You know, anybody listening, you do
Yeah.
it. So yeah, whenever Ava's in the car or Claire's in the car, I'll adjust the rearview mirror so I can see her.
Smart.
Like if we're chatting and she knows I'm looking at her through the mirror, and then I get back in the car if I'm dropping her off or something, and then I look up and the rearview mirror is now looking back at an empty car seat. I'm like, well, that's depressing.
Oh,
so then I
that's sad.
adjust it to actually be
Sure.
a safer driver. But
That makes sense.
Anyway,
Okay,
I
fair
say
enough.
all that to say red lights.
Do you not-
There can be good conversations.
You don't really talk to your daughters while you're driving? Like, what if you're on a highway? Just silence?
No, I talk to them.
Okay.
What do you mean?
Well, you're saying you only talk to them during red lights.
Oh no, just you just conversations.
Okay.
I don't know.
Fair
you
enough.
have longer drives, so you have longer conversations.
Sure.
Because
Okay.
there's red lights.
Fair enough.
Parking spots, though, give me that right out front.
I'm going with green lights.
Yeah.
Just because I as you, I'm often late, and
Yes.
I've been late to like practices before and different things, just solely because of red lights, and I hate
Right.
them. I absolutely hate them. So parking spots, like I can deal with that. And Bliss, we got a parking garage right behind the Kansas Station too that I always park
Sometimes we get real lazy, park out front, get a $10 ticket.
in. Oh, I know. It's
Every
horrible.
time, man.
Air
they're on top
for
of it.
Ron wants to know. This wide receiver transferred to KU for his senior year during the Weiss era. Over his 3 seasons at his previous school from the MAC, he averaged 1,055 receiving yards, 7.6 touchdowns per year, 76 receptions. In his 1 year at Kansas, he had 44 receptions, 470 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Who is that? And will KU's current senior transfer from a MAC school, Nick McMillan, have over or under those numbers?
Probably a good time to bring up that Nick McMillan has been named to the Bolitnikoff Award
right.
preseason watch list. Came out earlier today among 45 players named to the watch list, which is annually awarded to college football's most outstanding FBS receiver. So, yes, he's expected to be very good for KU this season. I got to figure out who this guy is.
MAC guy. Let's see. So the
Weiss
Weiss era
era.
was 13 to,
Was it 13 or was it
what was it?
like 11?
Oh, you might be right. Did he get fired in 14? Yeah, because 14 was when Clint Bowen took over, and then 15 is when Beatty took over. So I think you're right. It was 11 to 14. So
Former
he's there.
MAC receiver.
I'm looking this up. I'm just gonna go randomly. I'm gonna look it up, and I'm gonna let you stew on. Do you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
Do you
yeah.
have an idea as to who?
I might ask for a hint. Here's what I'm going to do, though. I'm going to, just for my brain, I'm going to type in schools in the MAC just so I can
Sure.
stare at them.
Receptions. Let's see. What was it? So 44 receptions for 470 yards. Not bad. So it wasn't 2012.
Man.
I'm going to go previous year. See what that was. Receiving
Eastern Michigan.
40
Kent State.
receptions. 4 touchdowns. So that's not right either. I'm going to go 2013.
2013.
I bet
yeah,
it's
gotta be
2013.
Weiss era.
My goodness. Okay. Let's go 2014 because he got fired in 2014. 44. Oh, you're going to love this.
Oh, man. Should I
Man.
know him?
Yeah, you should. Can I give you a hint on the school?
Yeah.
Miami of Ohio.
Oh, my God.
This is crazy. I didn't know he had this good of a year. I remember him though. 44 receptions. He actually didn't lead Kansas in receptions that year. He got beat by 1, Jameis Mundine.
Wow. That was not a very good team.
Had 45 receptions, 3 touchdowns. He didn't lead Kansas. Corey
But
Avery
he's a straight-up wide receiver. I don't think I'm going to get it. Nothing is clicking.
Nick Harwell.
Wow.
Do you remember him?
I remember him now that you said that, but I don't think I would have gotten him.
Yeah. 44
Wow.
receptions, 470 yards.
That's a good question.
Has 2 rushing attempts for 7 yards, too.
I'm going way over on Nick McMillan. I think McMillan's going to go definitely over on yards.
Yeah.
And I feel comfortable going over receptions. 5 touchdowns, I'm not sure. That's
44
always
receptions is
tricky.
good, though. I think that he could go under on the receptions. Like, I can see him being like a 38,
definitely
30.
over on the yards, but yeah, I don't know on
44 receptions is a lot. I think way over. I'm looking at Nick McMillan being like 650 to 700 yards. And that's a lot, but it's also like he's going to be the number 1 receiver.
right.
So over 5 touchdowns. I think he gets 7 to 9 touchdowns this year for Nick McMillan. Cole wants to know what mode of public transportation best personifies you. Public transportation. So you have essentially buses and subways and bikes.
Give me streetcar. Give me the streetcars.
Nice.
Why it personifies me, I don't know.
I like
but
a bus.
It is a public
When I was in
transportation
London
option.
2 years ago, I rode on a bus.
And
like
Dan?
one of those big like red double-decker buses. They were fun.
Oh.
And it was so easy to get around.
How about a trolley
My
in
goodness.
Nashville? That's public transportation.
Yeah, that's true.
That probably is my answer.
That's fair.
That is my personification,
Trolley.
transportation.
Okay.
Trolley in Nashville, country music, beers.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Brewer wants to know,
Ah.
what would your WWE entrance song be?
I think I would steal the Undertaker's. And
Dong. What about the glass breaking and the Stone Cold Steve Austin?
how about The Rock? Can you smell?
That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about John Cena's "You Can't See Me"?
What about
Who did?
I think it was-
Was it 9 Inch Nails who did Triple H's? That was good.
I think it was Edge, who was like, "You think you know me, know me, know me." Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Or was it Pantera who did Triple H? Edge was good too.
Yeah.
Got to be something
and
upbeat.
Christian,
You
shout out.
You said off air just the Fray. How to say that?
Right.
Which would just bring everyone down.
Where did I go wrong?
He also wants to know, how would you describe your job to a 5-year-old?
Yeah, talk about sports,
Who
man.
is it? Motorhead. Interesting.
Talk about sports.
Yeah, we talking to us. We talk on the radio, but then like kids, like 5-year-olds today, they don't even know what the radio is.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't even say radio. I say talk about sports.
Yeah.
To a 5-year-old. Yeah.
We just talk about. That's what I always say. I just complain.
That's our on-air job, at
yeah,
least.
just complain about KU sports. A classic line that I always use is like, I just complain about KU sports all day. I already did that anyway. Now I'm getting paid for it.
Right.
So that's what I usually say. Henry wants to know, what's a fruit that you haven't had that you would like to try?
Oh, Henry coming through with the food question. We didn't have enough food questions today. You know what else we haven't had? We haven't had you bring in, and Elijah can back me up on this. We haven't had you bring in food for us to taste test on the KU Mailbag
That's not
segment.
my fault. That's Elliot's fault.
And yeah, Elliot must not listen anymore, man. I haven't gotten a question from him, but we had taste tests at times, and it was fun.
It's wonderful. I've never actually had a dragon fruit. I've had dragon fruit flavored things, and I would think I would like it.
Really, anything tropical?
Guava.
I don't think I've had. I have had a jackfruit. Have you had one of those?
I don't think I've ever had a jackfruit. You ever had a kiwani before? It looks like a tiny pineapple. It doesn't taste like it though. It's really good. Big fan.
I don't know if I've ever actually eaten a passion fruit.
I think I want to eat. I know people have talked about it before. I want to eat a cactus, but like not obviously the outside, but the inside of a cactus I've heard is pretty good.
I
You think
it's
so?
safe.
You think
Sour
so?
plum? Are you kidding me? That's right up my alley.
Sour plum. That does sound good.
Yeah.
Cole. Oh, gooseberries. I've actually had gooseberries before. Gozenberries are also really good. Kiwano, not kiwani. Kiwano.
Kiwano,
fruit.
yeah.
Yeah.
The, like,
Kiwani's is
horned,
like
the horned melon.
yeah, the horned melon. I've had that before. Starfruit. Never had it. But it sounds good. I've
Anyway.
had acai before.
Yes.
I've never had a true plantain. You know how bananas are like weirdly like they're just like man-made like plantains to make them sweeter.
Remember the Big Mike banana? Those are the ones that actually taste like banana Laffy Taffy, but then some. Have I not told you about this?
No.
So the bananas that we have now, and I know that we're way late right now on a break, the bananas that we have now are not how bananas used to be mass produced.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I've never had a true plantain.
There was a banana species or whatever called the Big Mike bananas
Big Mike.
that used to be the mass-produced bananas, and that's where like banana Laffy Taffies and other artificial banana flavored things got their flavor, because those don't actually taste like bananas, the artificial
right.
flavor.
Yeah, they don't. That's why I don't like.
But
I don't
the
like
Big
artificial
Mike
banana flavor.
bananas, also known as the Gros Michel bananas, I'm looking this up so I don't mess it up. They were completely wiped out by the Panama disease, but bananas used to be way yummier, as you would say, and taste like what we taste when we taste a banana Laffy Taffy. That's what bananas actually used to taste like. But then the Panama disease wiped them out. Look it up, Big Mike bananas. And now, like, you
So they just, like, don't
can't
exist
find them
anymore?
anywhere. You can buy like one for $37 online because they don't exist anymore. They get wiped out. But that's why now this, crappier version of a banana that we have is what now is the mass-produced banana.
Shout out to Big Mike.
They used to be sweeter and taste literally like candy, and then
No way.
Panama disease came, wiped them all out. That's your fun fact of the day.
Mike Hanna. That was a nickname in high school. Big Mike.
Big Mike,
Yeah,
Big
I don't
Mike
know.
Banana Hannah.
Big
Shout out
Mike
to Mike
Banana
Hanna.
Hanna.
Look at that. Look at that.
Mike Hanna. Big Mike Banana.
KU Mailbag segment. Thanks to everybody for sending in your questions. Hey, we're going back to the football building after this. We're going to hear from Keaton Kubecka and Nick McMillan, ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Jayhawk fans, show up, pack the field house, and wave the wheat. When it comes to money, Meritrust brings that same energy. That's because financial well-being isn't just something they offer, it's why they exist. Real people, local decisions, a team that actually knows your name. When you're ready to improve your financial game plan, they are ready. Meritrust Credit Union is the official financial well-being partner of Kansas Athletics. Visit meritrust.org to learn more. Federally insured by the NCUA. All right, let's hear from a couple KU wide receivers. First, it's going to be the man who was named to the Bolitnikoff Award watch list, Nick McMillan. He spoke earlier this week.
This fall camp in for you.
It's been good. It's been fun. Just being with everybody, putting finishing touches on everything as far as the offense and the team. Just getting ready for week one.
How different does it feel as opposed to the spring?
It's definitely a difference. You could definitely tell. Things is ramped up. We're getting ready for a game. For our spring, we just practicing. Just getting everything installed. But right now, we're getting ready for a game. Getting ready for a season. So you definitely could tell things is ramped up.
Coming from the MAC, I mean, obviously playing in the Big 12 now, is the speed of the game different, and how have you kind of adjusted to that?
I won't say the speed of the game is different. Definitely bigger bodies out there, though. You can just tell, from the linemen, linebackers, a couple of DBs, there's definitely some bigger bodies. But I won't say the speed of the game is any different, though. I mean, it's football at the end of the day.
Talk about the wide receiver room. I mean, Coach Samuel was in here talking about how there's a lot of guys who are game ready right now, and a lot of guys good-looking guys out there with Kubecka and Najee, Cam, just kind of talk about how that's been going.
Yeah, we are competing, we are battling, but in the day we are brothers too. We all make plays. I mean, that's what we are here to do. So we all push one another just to be great every day and just keep getting better.
How would you kind of compare and contrast you and Najee, your games?
I honestly think it's kind of similar. He's a bigger body than me, but we both, aggressive people, aggressive players. We both attack the ball in the air, not scared to get dirty. So I won't say we're too far off from each other. So we just want what's best for one another. He's my brother. I love him. It's going to be a good season with us this year.
What's your best trait?
I don't think I got a best one. I'm good at a lot of things, I'll say. I think I'm just overall a good ball player, to be honest.
Why'd you want to come to Kansas?
My relationship with Coach Lightpole, Coach T. Sam, was already a previous relationship there, so that played a big part in me coming to Kansas and just getting away from New York a little bit, seeing something new. So that played a big part in it too.
With Andy Kotelnicki being the offensive coordinator, I mean, what are you seeing out of his, style of offense, the way that he likes to run it?
A lot of creativity, a lot of different ways he gets players the ball, a lot of movement before the play even happens, a lot of shifts, motions, all type of stuff like that. So, it's definitely going to be challenging as a defense to keep up with us this year, and I'm excited to see how we're going to all put together.
You've been described as a really strong route runner. What's the key to being really good and crisp running routes?
I feel like just seeing what you see and trusting what you see when you're out there, not thinking too much, just reacting off what you see and making full speed decisions.
Who do you have your best battles with among the DBs?
Me and J. Todd, I said me, J. Todd, me and Rome. I said them two I was the most, so I said them two.
You said you got a lot of good traits. Is there something you've been working on trying to improve in particular this camp?
I'll say probably just my releases, getting out the ball. That's something I feel like you could always get better at. You could never really be too good at a release, so I feel like that's something I could always work on.
Talk about the chemistry with quarterbacks you've had so far fall camp.
I got a good chemistry with both of them, Cole and Zeke. I like both of them. Interested to see what the coach is going to do as far as who starts or whatever. But what receivers, we cool with either one of them though.
Do you guys talk about it? I mean, because it would help to know, right? But obviously they're going to make the decisions. So
yeah, I mean,
do you, as a group, a room, talk about it?
Yeah, we talk about it, but I mean, in the day, it's their decision though. We can't make a decision, so got to be cool whoever starts.
What do you think they each bring to the table?
I feel like they both bring different things to the table. They both, mature guys, both leaders, both vocal. So I just feel like you really can't go wrong with either one, to be honest with you.
Big things expected from Buffalo transfer wide receiver Nick McMillan. And now a fourth-year player, guy who's been here quite some time, Keaton Kubecka. He also spoke earlier this week at the Anderson Family Football Complex.
How has your fall camp been overall?
It's going good. Fourth year, so I'm kind of used to fall camp. I know what to expect now, so it's definitely letting things roll a bit smoother. We changed up kind of, the format and schedule this year, which I think has really helped our bodies out a lot. It's making us feel a lot more fresh on the field and letting us go out there and attack every day. I think this has been the most productive fall camp. With our offense, getting plays snapped, running the most plays I think we've done yet. It's really good work. We're going against top defenders. It's been a really good time, and it's good work out there. I think the format's really helping our bodies and get the best work we can.
Why is the format so helpful, do you think?
I think it's just putting the right amount of work on our bodies, but then being smart on our legs and kind of not killing our legs, but then letting us get good work in and being intentional with what we do. Like we don't rep the same thing over and over and over, but we do it so intentional and we're very exact on what we do that we get the good work and the work we need, and then go on to the next play.
Keaton, Coach Samuel said you are more confident this year. Why is that?
I think just preparation this year. Last year was my first time, really getting snaps. I got a little freshman year, but nothing like last year. So I guess just understanding the real speed of the game, what you have to do and kind of when to be there for the quarterback. It's a good feeling knowing now like how I need to be out there and play and just my role and my job, what I need to do for the team.
You're one of the few guys on offense who was here the first time Coach K was here. What's it like having him back?
It's awesome. I mean, he's a great coach. What I really like about Coach K is you can tell he loves football. Like, a lot of coaches are here, they're very smart, but he loves the game of football, and he's very smart. He's probably the best. Him and Coach Z are really good about, having connection with their players. So I love that about him. I feel like I got a good connection with him outside of football too. and he really knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. He has the experience and the results to prove it. So I mean, I'm very excited to see what he's going to do for us this year.
Keaton, would you say that Coach K, does he bring a different mentality?
Yes, yeah, he knows what he wants, and his emotions. He loves, like I said, he loves the game of football. So he's gonna get emotional. He's gonna say what he has to say, but it's all because he wants us to succeed. You can tell like it's out of love. It's out of he wants the best for this team, which I really like.
What have you seen from Nick and Najee during this fall camp?
Oh, those are ballers, man. I'm very excited to have them in the room this year. They're definitely gonna help. Just whatever we use them for, man. Those are some guys that, like I said, love the game of football. They both bring different things to the table, but those dudes definitely can go out there and ball, and they're definitely weapons for us to use on offense.
Will you compare and contrast their styles?
You see like Nas. Nas is a big dude, so he's gonna go in there. He's gonna make some big catches. He's gonna go in there and get physical when you need him to, and then Nick's explosive. Nick's also a big dude. He'll go get a block for you too, but he's very good with the ball in his hands. Like you saw that Buffalo leading, I think, receiver there in the MAC, or at the conference there are, but he's very good with the ball in his hands. He's somebody that we need to get in open space.
What's the competition been like among the group?
Oh, it's great. It's all love. Everybody wants to see each other win, whether that's the young guys or like Tyron Parker's had a really good camp. So he makes a play, everybody's celebrating him. I make a play, everybody hyping me up. Nas, Nick make a play, Cam makes a play. Everybody just wants to see each other win, which that's what you need in the offense. And it's like that too with the DBs. Like Jalen Todd had a really good camp, Roman Pearson. So when they make a good play, it's all love. It's happening. Hey, great play. Like it's really cool to see that when everybody's competing. It's just iron sharpens iron.
Thanks, Keaton.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Thanks, man.
That's Keaton Kubecka, a guy definitely who has the talent, has the frame to be impactful for Kansas football this upcoming season. Special teams, of course, but definitely at the wide receiver spot where KU needs to prove that they have depth at that spot. All right, been talking a lot of KU football. Next up, we're going to talk West Virginia football. We're going to take a look at WVU's schedule and see if Dan Courtwright will improve Kansas to 10-0 on the season in our Big 12 opponent outlook record forecast. That is next. ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Jocelyn's Jewelry.
For the best that's yet to come.
Partners of us here at Kansas Nation. They have been locally owned for over 40 years. Gary Jocelyn and the entire Jocelyn family. We didn't even practice that.
That's good harmonizing.
Proud to have earned the trust of generations of customers. They're the jewelry store you will want to go to because they're going to be honest and treat you fair, plus great prices. If you need a chain, a ring, other items fixed, they often can do it at a great price and there while you wait at their store, 95th in Antioch, in front of the big grocery store, so you cannot miss them. Jocelyn's Jewelry, the jeweler you will recommend to your friends and family because you can trust them. Again, want to say thank you to Jocelyn's for their partnership. 95th in Antioch, so if you're in the Overland Park, Leawood area, check them out. Again, you can't miss it over in OP. All right, Dan, we're taking a look. Big 12. Not quite an opponent outlook as much as it is a record forecast. Pulling up the 12 games for West Virginia football. Of course, Rich Rodriguez returned as the head coach last year, and he is now year 2. WVU, a lot of turnover like a lot of teams. Let's break down their schedule.
Yeah, so they have 3 non-con games. Really, one of them is going to be a difficult one. They do play Coastal Carolina week 1, Saturday, September 5th. Could be a tricky one, but at the same time, Coastal's not the team that they once were. So I think West Virginia goes and beats Coastal Carolina. It's going to be in Morgantown. All 3 of their non-con games are in Morgantown. They play UT Martin. That's an easy win. It's going to be at noon on September 12th. And then Virginia comes into Morgantown. I think Virginia winds up beating.
I could be mistaken on this, but I think that game is in Charlottesville.
It says versus.
I could be mistaken.
Is it in Charlottesville?
I don't know.
It has an
I'll go to the official.
neutral site.
Neutral site. Okay.
Neutral site.
Look at that. We're both wrong.
Oh, it's an asterisk. I'm just looking at the verses.
I never
versus
thought
the
we'd find a way to both be wrong, but we did.
Look at that.
We
Look
did
at
it.
that. I think it happens more often than not. I think Virginia goes and beats West Virginia at the neutral site.
Charlotte.
It's in Charlotte. Okay.
There you go.
Charlotte, North Carolina?
Yes. That is the neutral site.
Virginia and West Virginia?
Yes.
Weird.
I
Anyway,
don't know why.
Doesn't matter. They opened up the season against Oklahoma State in Morgantown. Once again, they have. I think that Oklahoma State loses to West Virginia. That means that West Virginia will be 3-1 after their first conference game, 1-1 in conference play. They go to Iowa State. I think West Virginia beats them there. At Arizona, I think they lose that one, so they wind up 2-1 in conference play. Cincinnati goes to West Virginia. I think Cincinnati actually clips them in Morgantown, so it's going to be interesting. So 2-2 in conference play at TCU and Texas Tech. They lose both of those games. That means they're 2-4. Kansas, I think they beat West Virginia. I think they do beat West Virginia in that one as well. So that means they're 2-5 in conference play, and they close it out with 2 straight losses against Houston and Utah. That means they are 2-7 in conference play, rounding it out to 5-7 total.
5-7 total. I thought you had them losing to Virginia. You haven't beaten Virginia?
Oh, sorry, 4-8.
4-8 total. Kansas, meanwhile, is at 10-0 through 10 games, according to Dan Courtwright. That's going to do it for Rock Chalk Sports today. For Tyler Brewer and Elijah Schmidt behind the cameras, and Dan Courtwright, Sean Kellerman saying thanks for joining us. Big day tomorrow with KU Football Media Day. Beginning Friday, we'll have all sorts of coverage on this show, but stay tuned to KansasNation.com for all of tomorrow's Media Day coverage. And, of course, we'll be on air from 4 to 6. Thanks for watching KansasNation.com and listening to ESPN Kansas City.